Rev up your engines!
Well, according to an article I read, the absolute worst of times for buying cars are over. But it's still bad, let's put it that way, you know? They kept raising the prices of used cars, new cars, everything kept going up. Now they're saying, well, the absolute worst is over. But as far as I'm concerned, it's still way, way, way too high. Now, the guy who wrote the article, he's saying, well, you know, they mark everything up. Yeah, now they have somewhat of a surplus of cars. Right? They can't just keep marking it up because you can go find that car somewhere else. Before, it was hard to find them and they could charge you whatever. I've seen people pay $10,000, $15,000 markups on cars because, well, we're the only one in town that has one of those, blah, blah, right? So it's not as bad as it was. So the absolute worst may be over for the time being, but it's still pretty terrible. The average new car hit an all-time high of $48,500 for just an average car. We're not talking fancy schmancy. We're talking about the average car, right? And interestingly enough, the average age of a car in the United States on the road is now 12.7 years, which is a new all-time high too. So a lot of people are saying like me, yeah, they're just too expensive. I'm keeping my old car. It still runs, goes down the road fine, right? A lot of people are starting to agree with me, you know? It was something ages ago if you had a 10-year-old car. Now, hey, the average car is 12.7. I see tons of cars with over 200,000 miles on them, right? You buy the right car, Toyota, Honda, maybe a Mazda, hey, they can easily last over 200,000 miles. Why not keep driving a stupid thing? Why waste your money, you know? Let's face the facts. They're trying to sucker people into planned obsolescence and, oh, you got to get the new style, new model, blah, 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 right? I don't care if it works and it does its purpose. I'm happy. We had a stove in Houston. That sucker was 40-something years old electric burner with the elements on the top. You could take them out and replace them, right? Not hidden in glass. Finally, it did break because it rusted through and I had to buy a fancy new one. But I kept it for 40-something years, you know? What's a stove for? To cook your food, right? If it cooks your food and does a good job, why the heck would you waste any money buying a new one? Same thing with cars. If it's running, still looks okay, what the heck? Keep driving it and take care of it. Well, I warn you all, don't buy Nissans. Well, here's a Nissan Murano that burned up. Luckily, it was in their driveway. People were sleeping. All of a sudden, our car just started on fire. Luckily, they'd parked it outside the garage. As you can see from the picture, inside the garage looking out, it's outside. If it would have been in the garage, probably would have burnt their house down. Now, I warn people, don't buy these Nissans. They're made like crap. Yes, they are. Now, they don't know exactly what it is, but they think it was from that stupid anti-lock brake problem those systems have where the fluid leaks and then starts on fire. And hilariously enough, the family had the ABS actuator pump seal worked on previously. It was a recall, right? Well, this just goes to show me it's bad enough if you buy a Nissan. Then you take it to the dealer and they fix it under recall, and then the car burns down anyway. They don't fix things that well, you know? What people don't understand at dealerships is the sort of bottom of the rung at the dealerships now is the mechanics. They don't get paid all that much money. The owner wants to make all the profit, and the sales guys want to make all the profits, right? The mechanics do not get paid all that much money anymore. They kept lowering what they're paying them. So, what do you get? You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. That's how it works, right? You're not going to get skilled, intelligent people working on cars if you're going to pay them crap. You're going to get young guys that don't know what they're doing, that went to some tech school where the technology that they're teaching them is way in the past, and they got to work on these fancy high-tech cars. They have no idea what they're doing, you know? And there's a big deal of difference between book learning and real learning, right? I had all kinds of book learning. I was doing my PhD at the University of Illinois, but that had nothing to do with cars, right? My car experience was going and working on them, learning from my grandfather and figuring things out, right? In my case, hey, hands-on stuff was the real learning. The book learning was just esoteric. So I can tell you all kinds of things, which of course today is relatively meaningless because we all have phones with Googles and we can Google something and look at it, right? Be that as it may, these poor people, they had a Nissan Murano, they took it in to fix the leak in ABS so they don't start on fire. Then it started on fire anyway, sitting outside. Lucky they didn't park it in the garage. All I got to say is you buy these vehicles like this, pay all that money, it's recalled, they supposedly fixed it, and then it burns down to the ground. Stay away from Nissans if you value your money, your life, your house, and your kids. That's all I got to say. Well, here's one you might not have thought of, but electric cars are 3 times more likely to hit pedestrians than normal cars. And why? Because they're quiet. They don't make enough noise. And the thing that really amazes me is now they have laws that if they're going below a certain speed, they have to make a noise, right? But there's no stipulation on what that noise is. I've had them come in here. It sounds like humming angels. Now, people that don't know, they don't know what that sound is. They might think it's some kid with a radio or something, right? Got a little rumbling noise. That should be the sound they make, not angels or melodious crap that comes out of them. There's no standardization. It's absurd. And some of them even let you put in the noise you want. I mean, it's stupid. They should sound like cars, right? That would be the thing. Well, it sounds like a car when it's going down the road, not humming angels, right? But of course, they're into this high-tech garbage where everything has to sound and look futuristic, so they make these noises. People on the street don't know what that noise is. I've often seen people, they'll look and say, what's that noise? And I'll explain, well, that's an electric car, or it's a plug-in hybrid where it's now running on electricity, so when it goes below 20 or whatever, it makes a humming noise, right? Insanity that there isn't a rule that they have to make the same noise. At least everyone would know. You'd know that, okay, electric cars go doodly-deet, and then they'd all go doodly-deet, but no. They can make whatever noise they want, which is really stupid, because then it confuses people. The pedestrians get hit because they don't think there's a car around there, right? This particular study was done in Great Britain. Combination of probably they're a lot faster, so people drive them faster, and they're not paying attention because they're looking at their electric car Tesla monitor instead of looking on a street because they're so wrapped up in their own technology, right? They should at least make a law that they make the same sound and everybody knows that sound is an electric car instead of being able to make different sounds. It's just plain stupid. All right, you think I'm making fun of solar panels and stuff? Check this out. Desert covered with solar panels. The impossible idea that made us lose $2 billion and 2,000 megawatts. Okay, they were going to build this generating stuff to make 2,000 megawatts. 2,000 megawatts, that's 2 gigawatts, actually. Instead of saying $1 million, you say 100 million pennies, right? It's the same figure. But in this case, it's 2,000 megawatts. Yeah, that's only 2 gigawatts, right? They just want to use the largest number they can to try to impress people. Well, it turns out this was even being done in a desert, and they haven't done it yet. They got some stuff, and then they gave up. They can't decide, what are we going to do? What kind of panels are we going to put in? As I tell people over and over again, this technology is incipient. It's at an early stage, right? Don't invest your money in it now because they could make stuff that really works quite well in the future that doesn't work that well now. Their problem was they couldn't decide if they were going to use photovoltaics, which is the solar panels that turn the sun into electricity, or concentrated solar power that uses mirrors to heat up stuff to then create electricity. Now, see, the thing about if they use it to heat up liquid, sodium, they've got all kinds of different things that they can use. When they do that, the concentrated, they can store it because they got heat, they got insulated things, they can store the heated stuff somewhere and then use it when they want. It's not like you got photovoltaic cells. When the sun shines, they create electricity. But the electricity's got to be used. If it's not used, it's wasted because it's got to be used instantly. Well, with the concentrated solar power, they're heating up a liquid. It can be stored in an insulated container, right? So it can be used later. So that makes more sense. So these guys in Morocco, they can't decide, well, which one are we going to use, right? It's mind-boggling. If you ever flew from Las Vegas to L.A., you'll see there's these giant mirrors, and half of them are broken now. And they tried one of these concentrated ones, and it turns out that it took more energy to operate the station as they did get energy out, so they shut the whole thing down. They actually built it. And then they found out, oh, this isn't economically viable. For the money it costs for us to upkeep and to operate this thing, we don't make enough electricity to even break even. We're losing money. So they shut the whole thing down. This is unproven technology. People should not be investing big money into it until this stuff's perfected. And of course, the problem with all these companies are they're all bald-faced liars. They'll say, oh yeah, this works great. Yeah, solar panel salesman. One came over here the other day trying to sell me solar panels. I said, I'm a mechanic. I fix my own. Oh, but can you put solar panels? I said, yeah, I can. I said, as a matter of fact, I got some in Tennessee, and I haven't even hooked them up yet because it's too much hassle. Too much work. I don't want to ruin the roof on buildings. Shocked him. He didn't know what to say, right? But he was just a sales guy. I heard him on the street, down the street, on his phone in his car, selling crap to people. I can meet you, anytime you want. I'll show you the whole thing. And they're just sales guys. They'll sell anything, right? And in this case, Morocco's got $2 billion, and they haven't built it yet because they can't even decide which one they're going to use. David M. says, I have a long-term fuel term on a 2010 Chevy that's pushing past minus 10% with 123,000 miles on it. I have new spark plugs. Goes between minus 12 and minus 9.4%. Okay. What's happening is your vehicle is running rich and it's subtracting fuel. One of two things are the most common problems with that Chevy. One is if the fuel pressure regulator is bad and it's leaking fuel, it'll make long-term fuel trims like that because raw fuel is being dripped in, so it's got to lean it out because you're getting too much fuel to the engine, right? Pray it's just the fuel pressure regulator. Because if not, it generally means on those that you're going to need fuel injectors because the fuel injectors pump the fuel in. They get old, they start leaking, and then they leak too much fuel into the engine. Fuel trim is negative because it has to subtract fuel because you have too much. Pray it's the fuel pressure regulator and not the injectors themselves. The fuel pressure regulator is an easier thing to change anyways, and it's cheaper. You might as well try that. And if it fixes it, great. If not, you're probably going to need fuel injectors. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.